This is FanStream Sports.
Can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who would know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Yes! Here we go!
I guess I want to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about my pants.
Oh, yeah. Welcome into the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim Show. That show that you've tripped and fell and made waves as you splashed down, leaving a trail, and you're now here. Congratulations, you made it. Look, if you want to talk to us and you're listening to that recorded podcast, then that's 214-937-0569 is the FanStream Sports text line.
It's been a while, Colby.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. A lot longer, actually, than I actually used the term fan text. That's been a long time ago since I did that. So it's your FanStream Sports text line.
The D&M Auto Leasing fan text line.
Right. Go ahead and
call them.
Yes. Well, actually, most of the time that I was there, it was the Autoflex leasing.
Autoflex was, yeah, I remember that.
It was the Autoflex leasing fan text. So there you are, there you be. Look, it's been a little bit. I know some people have been missing some things like fuel pumps and cars and things like that. But we're here, we're right now, and we're ready to get started.
We're here and we are queer.
I mean,
oh wait,
you coming out right now?
I'm coming out. No,
that's the statement. Look, we got your Cowboys talk. We got the. We're going to go ahead and send off the stars to go fishing. We've got a little bit of that going on. I've got some mystery shotgun for the gamers and the comic book guys, as I've got a couple of interesting notes to throw out there to everybody, and news and notes and your birthdays. So, and maybe an interview at the end, a surprise interview.
Yes, a big time name in DFW broadcasting.
Whoop, whoop.
How you like them apples?
Man, those are good apples. You know what I found out, though, that I didn't like?
Uh-oh, not apples?
It wasn't apples. So I went to, and I'm not going to name this place because I love this place, and I'm about to not give them good publicity. Right? No. So I should have done, what I should have done already is the Tim thing. Is just go in and just order what I know I love at that place. But
yes.
I don't do that because I'm always afraid there's something else out there that's going to be better. And as far as food, I want to try it.
See, I'm the opposite. If I find something I like, I'm good.
Yes.
I don't need anything else.
But see, now this has worked for me at this place because I was getting the arrachera, which is it's a flank steak with tortillas and all of that. And then I was like, I saw that they had short ribs, beef short ribs, fajitas. And I was like, ooh, wait.
Does sound good.
I need to have this.
Is this the same Mexican place that you talk about quite frequently?
This is
or now a different place that has a good breakfast.
This is no. This is a new place. Okay. This is actually has kind of replaced that place.
Oh,
right, because we found some things there that I liked better. Ooh. I found some things there that I don't like as much. Damn it. This last time there, so I did. So I took my daughter and my wife there. So it was me. It was Blaze. It was one of my daughters. Right. I should go ahead and qualify that.
Yep.
And so we're eating and. I have been watching this guy from Philadelphia rate tacos on the YouTube.
He's from Philadelphia. How much does he know about tacos?
He is a true member of the Raza, so yeah, he knows tacos.
I have no idea what that is.
He's from Tijuana. So,
do you have sex with horses?
No, he's not a member of a horse show that's out there. Just any point. No, well, you know what? I don't know that. I'm just going to go ahead and guess, just because he can still walk, that he's not having sex with horses.
Well, you're not normally the one being penetrated by a horse. You're the one doing the penetrating.
Mark that. I don't know when we'll need that, but...
Crap, I got to write it down.
But please mark that, because you had so much confidence in what you were saying and oblivious to the humor that was what was coming out of your mouth. So
I was trying to speak authoritatively.
Right. Well, you were doing a very good job of that.
Bestiality.
But you know what? I wish I hadn't talked over that part. This would be great. We've literally started the show off with a bang, everybody. So, at any rate, because of that, I've been hankering for some fresh homemade corn tortillas, which you very rarely get anywhere. Right? It's normally store bought.
Yep.
They're normally a little bitter. It's usually the reason why I end up choosing the flour tortillas because it's easier to make those, I'm guessing.
Yeah, homemade flour tortillas are easier to do than homemade corn tortillas for sure.
But if any place around here had them, is going to be the place that we were at, right? Because in order to walk in there, your cowboy boots need to be able to kill cockroaches in a corner.
Okay.
Right?
All right, I'm not mad yet.
So I ordered the tacos, and I ordered my normal, which is the tripas or the tripe, the lingua, and the pastor.
You know what my go-to is?
I'm guessing beef.
Beef.
Right. Well,
Ground beef or fajita beef, like a skirt steak or whatever. I'm okay with all. I don't know what any of that other stuff is.
The lingua is
That's tongue. Yeah, I know. But from what animal?
From the cow. It's cow tongue.
Because I've seen it like ox tongue. I've seen
right. Well, they'll normally tell you.
Okay.
Right, if it's not from a cow.
Okay.
And it's really hard to get a hold of chicken tongues.
It's from your ex-wife or something.
Right.
I'd eat that.
So, at any rate, my ex-wife? What was that going on?
I said I'd eat my ex-wife's tongue.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was implying.
All right. I didn't know where we were going. The boat was there, but I didn't have any oars.
I don't know your ex-wife.
Right. So, anyway, order. Oh, and the tripas are. I'm probably butchering that. The tripe.
Okay.
Is belly.
Okay.
It's the not quite the intestine situation.
Right.
It's the belly situation.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool.
I got one of those.
I'm gonna because that's my go-to. And had the lingua. It was good. It was. You could tell it was a store-bought corn tortilla, which was like, oh man,
Disappointing.
yeah, because and maybe the guy that or the lady that made the tortillas wasn't there that day because
Right.
the lady that I call Mama wasn't there.
Okay.
So this may be just how it had to happen at this point. So the lingua was good. The pastor was amazing. The tripas. Oh God,
To die for?
it was bad.
Oh, it was bad.
See, what I want out of this is I want the crispy edges around it. I want it to be on the plancha for a while and just, get some crackle and stuff on it. What I don't need is it to be soupy.
Oh.
I don't
okay.
I don't think of soupy bacon.
Yeah.
It's not something that you want.
No. So is this the first time you've tried that there? Or
It's the first time that I've tried it there.
So you think that's just how they make it, or it was an off day?
I may be an off day, but the side of it that really got is I'm also the guy that I'm just going to eat it anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
You do that, yeah.
So I did that, and for the next 2 days, I was really hating doing that.
Regretted every moment of that.
It was because I knew it's so stupid. I knew when biting into it that I should not eat the rest of that. They have not done this right.
Oh no.
I knew biting into it that I should set that to the side and not maybe even say, y'all want to try that again to the waitress because that's not good. Y'all may want to try that again. I did not because this is
why you send things back.
This is a place that I frequent.
Okay.
And I will just know not to order that there anymore. And I frequent it enough, like
You don't want to piss anybody off?
I don't want to because everything's raveable
Sure.
besides this one item, right? I mean, the queso is great. The salsa is great.
Yeah, you always judge a place by itself.
And they have their crema, their jalapeno crema,
Yep.
and a roja sauce that goes on like your tacos or your meat or whatever. That's also amazing.
Okay.
You're king of Mexican sauces when you walk in there because you have enough to choose from, right? It's amazing. But this one thing, dear sweet God, it was a day after, and I was thinking I should have timmed it. I should have timmed it.
Benefits, man.
It does have that one benefit. Now, again, there's things that I would have never eaten if I had timmed it that I found out I like better.
So it's okay to order something then in your situation that you saw that you thought you would like, but as soon as you saw it and you knew that was the mistake, you gotta, there's things that places I will go to that I order the same thing every time, and if it comes out and it doesn't look the right way, I'm like, this isn't how it normally comes. I know that wasn't your situation, but you could have just said, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was. Can I just get my regular instead? I'm sorry.
And that's not me. And I think it's built in from the plate being put in front of me as a kid, and just that's what you get.
Right.
So you eat that. It's kind of because you look across and there's the old man, and he looks at you and is like, maybe the taters weren't the best taters in the world.
Don't ever tell your parents that.
Don't. And he would never say anything to my mom. Maybe like slightly to the side. Hey,
don't ever do this again.
This is bad. But he's not out loud at the table. And I was not allowed to say anything was bad.
Right.
Because he explained to me at one point, he said, if you want the cooking to stop, then start saying what you really think.
Go ahead and complain.
Because everything else was amazing.
Sure.
The chicken fried steak, the blah, blah, blah. Everything that she made was amazing. So, you eat enough of somebody's cooking, there's going to be one time where you're like, they had a bad day, buddy. Right? So you don't want to screw that up. So I guess that was built into me not to do that.
All right.
But, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's
so
not good, man.
I often share my great eating experiences and tell y'all to go there. I will still tell you to go to this particular place. If you ask me, I would just tell you not to order the tripa tacos.
Huh.
So don't do that.
And also, next time you go, will you get tacos? You won't bother with the corn, right? You'll just get flour. Are the flour ones homemade?
Yeah, the flour ones. That's what made me so. Because I would get the flour tortillas because that's the go-to. Because those at places like that, they are homemade, right? And these flour tortillas are the homemade, where the one on top is the most done, and the one at the bottom still has that slightly like Play-Doh texture to it. That's amazing.
Okay with that.
Yeah, that's like you put that one in the queso or just put a little butter on it or whatever, and you're just like, I'm eating a Mexican pillow, and this is amazing.
I love those pillows.
I love a Mexican pillow.
Like when there's two.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much my, I hate to say it, the few times that I'm going to come in here with a bad food report.
And it's not the place is bad. It's just that what you had there wasn't to your liking.
Right.
Not how you were used to having it.
I am not a person that targets. If you do everything bad, I'm just not going to talk about you.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm not going to go after you because somebody's trying over there. Just may not be my taste that they're trying for.
So next time you go in, I mean, they're going to know who you are, obviously, because you go there a lot, right? So next time you go in, order your normal thing.
Right.
And then just say, hey, could I just get a sample of y'all's whatever it was? Because last time I came in, it wasn't great. And I kind of want to try it again, but I don't want to risk ordering the full meal.
Right. I mean, I guess I could do that. The problem is that I don't want to. It was such a horrible experience.
You don't want it to be good now.
No, I'll
right,
go.
Fair enough.
I'll go to my GP places, my Grand Prairie places, when I really need that taco that I already know they do it well. Right. I'll just go there. A little bit of a drive to GP from my house, but hey,
it's worth it for good food, man.
Yeah, when you really need that particular taco, there you go.
I've driven all the way to Okmulgee, Oklahoma for a very special taco.
What was her name?
Christy. Christy McCall. I was 16, Colby.
That's a long drive for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, because I just got my license.
I
also didn't tell my parents I was going.
How did that go when you got back?
Oh, they didn't know.
They didn't know?
I made several trips up there without telling them where I was going.
The benefits of no cell phone, no pager, no situation, nothing like that, and also just going and leaving and not coming back for like a couple of days was a common thing.
Oh, yeah.
And when Tim was growing up, and a little bit of a common thing when I was growing up.
So I did get busted once the last time.
Okay.
Because I took a buddy with me. And we took his car, his mom's car.
Oh, and more observant parent.
So he said he was spending the night at my house. This is my buddy Scott. We grew up together since 5th grade, and, we're in high school at this point. I said I was spending the night at Scott's house and our parents talked like it was stupid to even.
Right.
And we said we were going to Six Flags for Saturday and Sunday. So we'd be gone, right? Explain some mileage on the car. Didn't explain the, 600 miles we put on his mom's Grand Prix.
The Pontiac Grand Prix.
So we drove it, and it was like an 81 or 82 Grand Prix. It was a sweet car, though. So, yeah, we drove all the way up there, stayed the weekend, came home late Sunday night. All's good. He drops me off. I walk in, and my parents don't say anything. I go to my room, and my phone rings because he lived right down the street. 5 minutes later, he's like, yeah, are you getting yelled at yet? And I'm like, no. And right about that time, my door opens, and there's my mom and dad. Boy, we need to have a talk. I was like, I'll have to call you back. Oh, you ain't calling nobody back, ever, for the rest of your life. So his mom had literally needed something out of her car. So, literally, as he pulls in, she's going out to the car. He hadn't even turned it off, and she sees the mileage. Why does she recognize the mileage? Because she just had her oil changed and knew what the mileage was because they always write it on the thing. Oh. And she's like, Scott, where did y'all go? And immediately he folded.
Of course. Well, he's totally busted. What else is he going to explain that with?
So, yeah, we got busted. It was fine. Christy broke up with me on that trip anyway.
Oh, so you just had a bad trip and a bad ending to that bad trip.
I always still banged her, but,
Okay.
While Scott was out talking to her mom in the living room. He said it was the most uncomfortable conversation he'd ever had because he's out here talking to this woman that he doesn't know while I'm in there banging her daughter.
Poor Scott. Why would he agree to go with you? That sounds like a trip to nothing.
He wanted a road trip. I might have promised him that she had a friend, and then that might have been a lie.
Sounds, yeah. I think I would have, as soon as I got there and there was no friend, I would have just started to kick your ass.
Oh, it was good times, man. My son Zach is named after him. His middle name is Scott. So, we still talk. His birthday's 5 days after mine, and he lives out in freaking Hilton Head Island, literally on the beach, working his IT job. He walks out to the beach to do his work on the beach.
So he's doing all right.
For a couple of hours, and then he's done. And he's got almost as many kids as me, but he's still on his first wife.
Oh. Well, they don't usually want to leave if you're successful, Tim.
There's a lot of Scott and Tim stories I could tell from way back in the day. One of these days, we'll get into those.
So, again, coming up, I've got some Grand Theft Auto news. I've got some Build a Rocket Boy questions. And I have some possible who's playing Professor X. That's all coming up in Mystery Shotgun.
Ain't me.
And, of course, we're getting into sports. But before we do that, Tim.
Colby.
You're supposed to – what day is it today, bud?
Oh, thanks for asking. We used to have music for this, too, man. It's been
we
a long
did.
time since I did stuff. Mm-hmm. Colby, today, as the calendar flips to June 2025 in the year of our Lord, it's a day that I celebrate, and I know you celebrate. It's National Cheese Day.
Named after the stuff.
How about some Colby? Was your middle name Jack? That would have been funny.
No. Middle name is still Tillman.
So still Tillman, and you still don't know why.
It's my dad's middle name.
Just because.
Grandpa's middle name.
But you don't know why.
And that's just how it is.
I'm starting to love that as much as it bothered me before that you don't know why. Now, a day that I do not celebrate, Colby, and that I discourage all people from celebrating.
And, of course, it's my son's middle name.
Of course.
Throw that out there.
But you don't know why.
Because it is.
Just because.
It is. That's what you do.
No, that's not what most people do.
No, it's not most people. It's what a SAP person does.
It's like you're not allowed to ask questions.
I don't want
not
to.
Your name.
Why?
Be after a family member that's a Civil War hero.
Cool.
But you'll never know.
I don't care, Tim.
Colby's tagline. Don't care.
I don't care.
Colby, it's National Hug Your Cat Day. And I'm putting a petition in to the people who name days to have this changed to National Shoot Your Cat Day.
No. Mm-mm. There's good kitties out
There's
there.
no such thing as a good kitty.
There is.
International Corgi Day. I don't understand corgis. I'm sure they're sweet puppy dogs. I like all dogs, but there's some that I don't understand, and a corgi is one of them.
I mean,
They
I
barely have legs.
never had, owned a corgi or had a corgi as the family dog, whatnot, but I wouldn't not want one.
No, I'm not saying if one fell upon our ownership, I would turn it down. I just don't understand corgis.
There's a dog.
I know, but some
It's like
dogs are cooler than others, and a
it's like
corgi's not really a cool dog.
It's like a furry wiener dog. Well, you don't know that. You never had one. Could be the coolest.
Look cool.
I don't need them to look cool. I need them to
I
be
do.
cool.
That's why I hate, what are they? The little terriers. All they do is bark and yap all the time with the wiry hair.
Oh, I mean,
What
some
am I
of them
thinking
might.
of?
Some of them might have cool attitudes.
Scottish Terrier. Colby, it's National Christian T-shirt Day. We were supposed to wear shirts that say Jesus.
Huh. I had this shirt growing up. Dad was a minister. So I had this shirt growing up because Nike Airs was a big thing, right? And the shirt just said Jesus Air on it. And it had the Nike swoosh, but it was upside down.
Right.
But on the top of it, it had the company that made the shirt. And it was a company called AIM. So it literally said AIM Jesus Air. It's like, what you're aiming at what are you doing?
With an upside down Nike logo.
So it used to throw people off a little bit.
AIM Jesus Air.
Is that a Christian shirt or is that like a satanic shirt?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's pretty funny.
Christian shirt.
Colby, it is also International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression Day.
They should shorten that name.
I mean, I'm all for... It doesn't even make sense. International Day of Innocent Children. There's supposed to be children victims of aggression. Okay.
Right.
Let me read it properly. International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression. It still sounds weird.
They should just have children victims of aggression. They're innocents or whatever. If it's a parent or an adult and they're a child, they shouldn't be. There shouldn't be any guilty. How about that?
True.
Right?
Are there guilty children victims of aggression?
Right.
Kind of deserve what you get.
No, not in that instance.
Colby, it's National Cognac Day. What do you think about a good cognac?
I've never been a cognac fan. They usually end up being too sweet,
Yeah.
and that's just not me. I'm not wanting a sweet beverage.
I've only had a couple of them thrust upon me, and they were, from what I understand, very expensive ones, and I enjoyed them. One time I enjoyed one with a good cigar,
right.
which was amazing because I don't smoke cigars, nor I'm not a cigar guy, but that it was a perfect pairing, and it was warm, a warm cognac.
Okay.
But it's something I could never replicate again because even if I knew what kind it was, I would never be able to afford it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not against a good cognac, though, man. How about National Old Maids Day?
Like the game. Play some Old Maid.
Honor the undying spirit of the women who broke away from social pressures and societal norms.
You mean the
old hags.
Chicks that ran out there and threw off their bras?
I guess so. I mean, I'm all for that. Mm-hmm. I'm for no bra day. National Tailors Day. Not the name Tailor. The people who fit your clothes. I like good tailored clothes. I'm not gonna lie.
They've got. I mean, but they've been replaced by the internet. Now you can just.
I don't think so.
You can put your measurements in.
How do you know your measurements?
Because you use your phone and scans you and gives you your measurements.
So when I was in my mid-20s and married to the first wife, and we both owned our own businesses, I did a lot of sales calls, and I had to wear suits almost every single day.
Okay.
And I hated wearing suits. And one of my work associates took me to Brooks Brothers
Uh-huh.
and had clothes fit for me. Like I ordered shirts with the right long sleeves, with French cuffs, with special collars that I picked out. They made the clothes, had the monogram. Same thing with the suits. They were tailored for me. And I spent, so we're talking 1994, and I'm $1,200 for a suit. That's just the suit, not the shirts, the shoes, the socks.
Wow.
And dude, I will tell you, there is nothing better than a well-tailored suit, man. It feels like you're wearing pajamas.
I can understand that. I can tell you that what would be better is me not spending $1,200 on a suit.
That was a drop in the bucket for me back then. I was spending more than that on hookers.
It's bad.
They're online hookers, though.
Not at that time you weren't.
Colby, it's National... That was the worst sound ever. My 300 baud modem on my Commodore 64.
And somebody pick up the phone. Damn it!
Yeah, got to start over.
Damn it!
Colby, how about National Shopping Cart Day?
Okay, well, this has gone too far. The
Today
shopping carts get a day?
Today we celebrate the baskets on wheels we use to journey through the aisles in a supermarket.
So what are you supposed to do on this day when you go to the grocery store or Walmart or whatever? Are you supposed to politely massage the handle before you take a hold of it? Like, hope you have a good day, Mr. Shopping Cart or Mrs. Shopping Cart.
Or
man.
Mrs.
Yeah, you
How
don't
can
know.
you tell what sex the shopping cart is?
It may be asexual because each one of them can fit into the other one.
Is that how they but they don't ever reproduce.
Yeah, that's how you get the mini carts.
The little one standing next to
Yeah.
it. I've never seen one birthed, though.
Oh, yeah, I've seen one shot out of one of those cart returns before. I'm guessing that was its birthing moment and possibly its death because it hit that car hard.
I used to cheer for the runaway shopping carts in the parking lots.
For the length of escape or for the amount of worth the car is that they hit.
Yeah, I just wanted to see the damage.
Right.
And then somebody come out thinking somebody did that on purpose when it was really just the wind.
Right. The wind in your toe
Yeah.
that
Oops.
got everything started.
Oops, I pushed it. Pushed it real good. But yeah, that was always fun watching the shopping carts fly through Did you ever go shopping cart sailing?
You mean like riding, like Jackass style riding a shopping?
See, we did that in high school, like way before Jackass ever did it.
Of course I did.
And we could get it all there. Like the first time we did it was we were at a Target in Plano, and we just went in and bought a shower rod and a shower curtain and the hooks.
Right.
And you would hold the shower rod up inside, and then you just hold one corner of it, and that's how you could steer. And then when you're ready to stop, you let go of the corner, and then it just sort of. But your stopping was very sketchy.
I didn't ever really do the sailing part. Our main method was, of course, I worked overnights at a grocery store. So once it was time for we were caught up or whatnot, then their tomfoolery would happen, and so you'd end up every two people in separate carts and two people pushing, and it would be basically the bobsled except with carts. We did that with that and pallet jacks.
Oh, pallet jacks were fun.
Pallet jacks were fun, but never try and make that sharp turn. You
Those
will
are hard
flip
to
that.
steer.
You will flip that bitch in a hurry.
Yeah,
I'm on the floor. How did I get here?
I don't remember. That's what day it is, Colby.
Nah, that's a great time to be alive. Is what day it is. That's for damn sure. And as now we segue into the title card, as it's time for the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim Sports Report.
Colby, there is a lot that has happened in the world of sports since we have last
There is.
grasped each other's wellness.
What?
Cordially.
Yeah, I didn't think you liked corgis. What happened?
I like cordials.
Okay.
Since last time we did a show there. How's that? Mm-hmm. Let's try to be fancy about it and hold my pinky up. We've had the Stars ousted. We've had lots of Cowboys OTA news. We've had Rangers still struggling. By the way, it's not fun to go on my Tampa Bay show
And talk about how the Rays are
or
dominating.
destroying the Rangers right now. Every freaking morning. This morning, it'll probably happen tomorrow morning as they play again tonight, and then on Thursday. Golly. I'm in for a beating. But anyway, Colby, we've got Stars content coming up in the second hour.
We do. I do want to throw out there Smalley real quick. I've seen people upset at the Stars action, and just I've heard people throw tantrums. That's what's going on with the Stars and how that they need to get up and get better and all that. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you my one thing.
Okay.
I think we just need a better goalie.
Oh, wow. You think Ottinger was the problem?
Yes.
Well, we see completely different sides of this.
I think you need somebody. It started off that the offense was not good in this series, but then there was pressure that was happening with the Stars that looked like the flow was right for goals to start to be scored. I'm telling you, for some reason, it just felt like he was swarmed and he couldn't step up. I know defensively, maybe there were some holes, but at some point, your guy between the pipes has to be like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
So, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Talk over you. Okay. So I don't disagree with you that Ottinger did not have his best series against the Oilers. Clearly, he didn't.
Right.
However, I think that was more of a product of having so much pressure on him because the defense was breaking down in front of you. The offense was non-existent in front of you, and that's not on Ottinger.
No, it's not.
And everybody's asking me, I went on numerous shows, Colby, people ask me about the Stars. What's wrong with the Stars? And my answer was the same for everyone. There's nothing wrong with the Stars. You know what happened? They went into a slump, a scoring slump in the worst possible time.
Right.
They went on one remember when they lost 7 games in a row coming into the postseason and we were all freaking out? Well, it didn't matter. They were able to pick themselves up from it. But any team that goes in a slump as bad as that in the postseason, you're going to be out. It doesn't matter who you're playing. If that would have happened to them against Winnipeg, they'd have lost the series. Against the Avalanche, they'd have lost the series. You know, and what can you do to avoid that? I have no freaking idea, and neither does anyone else on the planet. It just kind of is what it is. Are they good enough to win a Stanley Cup? I think they are with Ottinger. But the problem is you had Ottinger go into a little bit of a funk at the same time the offense went into a funk.
You did.
And you can't have those two things at the same time.
No.
Is there areas to improve? Yes. I still think you need to improve the defense. I think you need some blue line help past the first line, okay, which they'll probably address over the summer. I still think Ottinger's the guy. I definitely still think DeBoer's the coach. Everybody's already yelling for his head right. I'm like, guys, come on. Yes, I know the Stars are the first team in history to reach 3 Western Conference finals and not make the Stanley Cup finals. But you know what? They went to 3 straight Western Conference finals, for the love of God.
Yes.
Okay, let's not overanalyze this. Let's not overreact. They'll make some tweaks. They'll make some adjustments. I think Jason Robertson is gone. We've seen his last game as a Star. Nothing because of him. But the Stars are just not going to pay 2 top scoring linesmen like Rantanen and Robertson.
Correct.
And so Robertson's going to be the odd man out. And hopefully you can get a little bit of a haul for him. Because his draft capital right now, his take should be huge.
Should be.
Because he had a great postseason.
Just keep Nico away from it.
Nico was right. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. I'm not angry that they lost to the Oilers because we saw the same thing last year. It was the same exact thing against the Oilers.
You got flooded
4-1, and you know what? You should have got swept. That game 1 comeback was ridiculous. That should never have happened.
It was.
And I think it gave Stars fans a lot of false confidence.
Well, you won the first game. How could you not be confident?
But you normally lose the first game of a series when you're the Stars.
Yes.
Should have lost. Should have tanked it. Tank game 1 every series.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll throw your 4th line out there every other shift, and we'll be fine to come back. So those are my Stars thoughts. You'll get some more Stars content. You're going to want to stick around for that in the second hour, as we've got part of the Stars broadcast team joining the show via a recorded interview with one of our colleagues here on FanStream Sports. So we'll get into that. But Colby, football news. Of course, Cowboys OTAs happening, voluntary OTAs.
What does that mean?
What do voluntary mean? That was Darren Hambrick, wasn't it?
It was.
What do voluntary mean? Both those Hambrick boys were just gems, man.
And they were great. I kind of wish we had Troy Hambrick of old back ready to run the football right
I
now.
would take him right now.
Yes.
For sure.
Let's go.
So the Cowboys are going to have questions at running back. I want to do a deep dive next week on the running back position.
All right.
After we've had another week of OTAs and all this good stuff. Because the Cowboys running back room right now is a point of contention, even nationally. You got people talking about it in the negative, and I don't know that I disagree. So, Colby, let's do a deep dive next week on the Cowboys running back situation.
All right, we'll do.
But what we haven't talked about is the big trade as the Cowboys and the Steelers strike a deal.
They do.
To bring George Pickens as your wide receiver 2 opposite CeeDee Lamb. And, guys, I cover the Steelers. I write about the Steelers every single day. I watch the press conferences. I know I covered the last 2 years. I've covered the Steelers on game days, every single game day. I've watched George Pickens play games for the last 2 years and written about it every single time. He's not good.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Look, do I hope this trade works out? Yes. Do I hope that he can become what he didn't in Pittsburgh? Absolutely. Am I confident in that happening? No. Because for all the raw talent that George Pickens has, and make no mistake, this dude could be great. He has some amazing talent and skills and speed when he wants to use it. And he can run routes when he wants to. The problem is he never wants to. And the fact that he's got a change of scenery, he's in Dallas now, he's got an actual quarterback throwing him the ball.
Correct.
That he hasn't really had except for his rookie year when Roethlisberger was still there. Oh, no, actually, I think he came in after Roethlisberger retired. So, yeah, you had Mason Rudolph throwing you the ball in 2022. I never liked what I saw from him. His teammates did not like his effort. And when that stuff like that happens, and you even had Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm not a fan of Ben Roethlisberger, don't get me wrong there, but when he was coming out and calling out George Pickens for missed routes and not playing his part in the offense, and by that, what I mean is, even if you're not getting the ball, you got to run your route. Because if you're not getting the ball, the point of you running a route is to
clear the other guy out.
Clear the other guy out, right? You're the decoy. You got to pull the safety. Typically, you're pulling the safety away from where the ball's going. Well, if you don't run the route you're supposed to, well, the safety's free to go where he's not supposed to be. And boom, interception. There were three plays where that happened with him last year in regular season games where he just gave up on a route. The safety was opened up, goes across him and makes an interception on the intended target. Now, should the quarterback see that? No, not all the time, because he's expecting that route to be run.
You've got to have trust in your teammates to perform their job so that you can perform yours.
So, look, I don't hate George Pickens. I don't like anything I've seen from him in Pittsburgh the last couple of years. Absolutely, I hope that his attitude has now changed and that he's going to be a good teammate. Him and CeeDee Lamb are very, very similar with personalities.
Okay.
They're both going to want the ball all the time.
Right.
Even if it's been explained to George that, okay, you're number 2, Lamb's number 1. Well, Lamb goes out and catches 4 passes and has a couple of drops, and George is on 1 catch. He's going to start complaining. And that's what we don't need. Because Dak's not the kind of quarterback that's going to squash that in the huddle.
I don't think he is. He's the I've seen angry, fired up Dak over there talking to people before, like offensive line when they were just basically just trudging it up over there.
Oh, laying
defensive linemen through the line. I've seen him go over there and lay into some people. I'm not sure that's not going to happen with Dak. I don't think leadership is one of the holes in Dak's game.
No, I agree with that. I've never seen him be that vocal in the huddle before like that. But my question is, Colby, and this is a rules question. We need to get Mike Pereira on the phone. What happens when CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens disagree in the huddle of a play and start throwing punches at each other? Is that 15 yards on each player because you threw punches? And does that penalty still count if it's your teammate?
I'm going to say, since we didn't see that when we had Terrell Owens on this team, then we won't see that with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
I'm crossing my fingers. Wouldn't that be funny, though?
The fact that you had Patrick Creighton and Owens, who I think Creighton's was awesome, but he was already out there with an attitude anyway, right? And with deservedly so. He was out there to play. But the fact that him and Owens never got into fisticuffs,
it's a miracle.
Yeah. So I don't think that's happening now. I will say this. We go ahead and make this an actual rule, especially if this Pickens thing doesn't work, which I also am in the camp. If you ask me if it's going to work or not, I'd be like, it's not.
Really? Okay.
I'm in that camp. Let's go ahead and just make it a rule that if the Pittsburgh Steelers don't want a wide receiver anymore, that you also don't want that wide receiver anymore. Just make it a rule.
Yeah, that's kind of a good rule, especially recently. Look what happened with Deontay Johnson when they shipped him out of town to Carolina. He lasted 2 months?
Right.
And refused to enter a game?
Yes.
So he was cut?
So.
And now he's in Cleveland. And look, that's what happens to you. When you're a bad player and a bad teammate, you end up in Cleveland.
That's right.
Is that what you want?
Because Cleveland's going to Cleveland.
Cleveland in this year.
That's what Cleveland's do.
Another one of the teams I cover, and every day I'm asked to write something about the quarterback situation in Cleveland.
Gross.
Yeah. Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Deshaun Watson, who's going to be out this year with the Achilles.
Right. Who's going to be out this year with something else if he didn't have the Achilles.
Whatever it was, yeah. So, yeah, just tell me something positive I can write about any of that.
You have a lot.
Yeah, I do. Colby, it's tough sometimes.
You have a lot of things you can write about. That's positive.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things you can write about.
Especially with Dion being involved.
So, that's amazing.
So there you go. There's our Cowboys talk, Colby.
There it is. All right, coming up next, it is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly, our birthday segment. And after that, we get a little mystery shotgun. That's all coming up on the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim Show.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Today's show is brought to you by Tom's Town, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tom's Town, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim Show right here on FanStream Sports, live from the FanStream Sports studio in North Dallas. I would be IndyCar Tim.
Uh-huh.
That guy over there, trying to point straight, that's Colby Sapp. We are in the same room, by the way.
We are. We just like to keep the picture up there separated because Tim doesn't know how to focus cameras on us.
I don't.
Without it being spread out.
I don't know how to. I like to spread things out sometimes, Colby. Coming at you on a Wednesday hump day. Does that mean we're getting laid?
No.
That's not what that means. Damn it, Colby.
It means you've made it over the hump of the week.
I need to get laid. It's been a couple days. Not going to lie. I'm lonely, Colby.
Oh, man.
So lonely. I need some lady attention. Can I give me some lady attention out there on the FanStream Sports Studio text line?
Shooting a load into a lady. Hey.
I'd go for that.
Go watch that movie, by the way. Movie was great.
Watch that. Coming up, Colby's Mystery Shotgun.
Yep.
Got lots of fun stuff for you guys there. Some GTA 6 talk. Some who's going to be the new Professor X talk. It ain't going to be me. Although I'm bald, I could probably do it.
No,
but
can't.
They didn't ask me. So
no one watching that would believe you're smart enough to be
I'm
Professor
X?
Yeah. Then.
What about Professor Y? Professor A?
Professor No.
But right now, before we get into any of that, it is time for everyone's favorite birthday segment in America. It's time for some of this.
That's right. It is that music, so it is time for the good, the bad, the ugly, the show of this segment. Good God, the segment of the show. Wow, words elude me. Where I go through all the people that are born today, I make a list of the people I think that are famous enough to make my list and offer that list up to you guys, along with me and Tim, as we decide separately who is the good person, who is the bad person, and who is the ugly person. Starting off today, turning 89 years old, it's one Bruce Dern.
Dude, legendary Bruce Dern.
That's right. That's right.
He spawned Laura Dern.
He did.
Man, I would do Laura Dern any day.
Dern right.
You like Dern?
Dern, yeah.
Bruce Dern's a legend, though, man. I didn't realize he was that old. Damn. Probably going to die soon.
I mean, or not, because, legends never die.
It's true. They just fade away.
That's right. Passed away in 2024, I guess, proving that legends can die.
Oh, no.
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth Westheimer, Colby. You're a little too young to remember her status and her stardom in the 80s, I think. You remember that a little bit?
I do.
Okay, because she had like some books or something, but anytime you just talked about Dr. Ruth, you knew you were talking about sex, and it was kind of like,
Right.
Dr. Ruth. And she would appear on the Kid Craddock show on the Eagle sometimes at night. It was must listen because, she was going to talk about sex. And you couldn't do that back then.
And she could get away with it because she was Dr. Ruth.
Yes.
And nobody was going to tell her not to.
She had that strong German accent and never sounded right anyway. So
Right.
it's half the time you didn't understand the words except for when they were dirty.
Oh, and the fact that looking at her, your brain never thought of sex.
No.
Never.
Oh, my gosh.
Never, ever.
I mean, now it might. Not
She's
gonna lie.
dead, Tim.
Well, okay, a year ago, it might. I'm older now.
Turning 57 years old, one of the greatest names in R&B. Oh, no. Al B. Sure.
I don't think that's his real name, Colby.
No, I'm pretty sure but it's still a great name.
It's okay.
Al B. Sure. Come on.
I forgot he existed. I can't name anything that he ever did, but I do remember his name.
Of course, because that was one of the greatest names in R&B history.
Yeah, it's all right. All right. He's 57? Wow, he's not that much
57.
older than me. Mm-mm. That's shocking. Shocking development in R&B.
Turning 50 years old today. Everything he's in, I'm probably going to check out. It's Theo Rossi.
Okay, explain.
Theo Rossi normally plays the slick gangster character that you should be afraid of, even though his size doesn't make you afraid of him.
Okay, I recognize his face.
But Theo Rossi has played just his characters just look like, oh, okay, yeah, don't mess with that guy. It's Theo.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I recognize his face.
Probably going to go ahead and be my automatic bad here today. Is turning 44 years old today, TJ Miller.
What is wrong with you?
The fact that he had the golden egg sat before him as being a key component to the Deadpool movies, only to get written out because he was a jackass and had some legal troubles. And how many millions and millions did he fritter away by being dumb?
We all make mistakes.
You, sir, are stupid.
He's hilarious, dude.
TJ, yes. Those parts with him and Ryan Reynolds interviewing the potentials for X-Force was great. That's awesome. And it should have been ongoing.
So do you know how I know TJ Miller? Where I know him from before all of this?
He was on Wings one time?
No, close. He was on a sitcom, a very short-lived sitcom, and it should have gone longer. But you know how sometimes writers go on strike?
Uh-huh.
And sometimes that ends shows, right?
Correct.
He was in a show called Carpoolers. Where
I'm already out.
Oh, no, dude. It is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. He played one of the adult children of one of the couples that was centered around it. He was the adult son that lived at home and always walked around in his robe and his underwear, like with his little curly fro and everything. Mm-hmm. And dude, he was perfect for the role. And I had to find out, and he was just a comic back then. He was just a comedian when he was on this, I don't even, like 2012 or 2013 or something. And this show, I don't even know that it lasted an entire season because the writers went on strike and then it never came. It had Jerry O'Connell in it. It had Faith Ford in it. It had some very notable people in it, but it was freaking hilarious, man. And TJ Miller's character made the show. His character's name was Marmaduke. Marmaduke.
Is that where the comic strip came from?
No. Comic strip was way before that.
Okay.
But it was free. His character was amazing. That's how I know when I saw him in Deadpool, I'm like, oh, it's Marmaduke. And everybody's like, talking about. I'm pretty sure I might be one of the only ones that ever watched Carpoolers. But anyway, so I've told you before, when I see a star, like for me, Tom Hanks, I still think of Bosom Buddies because that's the first time I ever saw him.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan, I think Remington Steele because that's the first time I ever saw him.
Okay.
And literally all of them, every star that's out there that became a huge star, I still Robin Williams, Happy Days. Before he was on Mork and Mindy, he was Mork on Happy Days, and I still thought of Mork every time I saw him. Like, that's just how my brain functions.
Be interested now because we have a few actors and actresses coming up in the rest of this is you to name if they have a thing.
Okay.
So turning 54 today, Noah Wiley. Do you know Noah Wiley?
I do, and I know that he was on ER.
Yes.
But I never watched it. I saw him on a made-for-TV movie where he portrayed Steve Jobs.
Okay.
So that's what I think of Noah Wiley.
All right. He also
and then he was on this Librarians.
He was in the Librarians,
thing,
and he was
right?
also in the Aliens TNT or TBS show.
Okay, I don't think I ever watched that.
As part of the resistance against the aliens. That's actually the first 2 seasons of that, really cool. The third and fourth, you probably should stop watching it too. Got really bad.
There's a new Alien movie coming out, right? Or is it a TV series?
There is a new
I think it's a series.
Predator.
No, this was Alien something. I think it's like a Netflix or Hulu thing.
Okay.
But it looks really, really good. Have you seen the latest Alien movie?
I have not seen the latest.
Now that's over a year old now.
No, I have not seen the latest Alien.
And I told you, I did the review of it.
Yes.
Dude, it was really well done. And it had a couple of hots in it.
If you, on that universe spectrum, if you say there's a new Alien movie, I'm kind of interested. If you say there's a new Predator movie, I am there.
Let's see. No, this is definitely Alien.
With gigantic balls.
So Alien Romulus was the movie, right?
Correct.
So, the new one is a TV show called Alien Earth. Uh-oh.
Whoop.
Norm's calling. Alien Earth. It's a new Hulu show.
Keith David turned 69 years old today.
Oh, wow.
The great voice that is Keith David.
Yeah, no, he is amazing. I do like Keith David.
Russell Brand turns 50 years old today.
Oh, Lord. How do you know Russell Brand?
For being on that string of like annoying shows that people wanted to go see, movies for a little bit. That, and he remade
Arthur. He remade Arthur. Yeah, that was a terrible movie. He was on Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay, Arthur wasn't a great movie back in the day.
No, but it holds up. Like, it was just a stupid comedy.
Right.
With Dudley Moore. And he was on Get Him to the Greek.
Yes.
Which I think spawned a lot of that stuff. He's sort of politically motivated now, I think.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And for a lot of his stuff, I kind of agree with.
I haven't really listened to a lot of it.
He's not a nut.
Okay.
When he talks.
Good for him then, because most of them are.
Kind of on the side of normal humans, and not really worrying about selling his vagina candle or whatever.
Oh, I'd buy one of those.
And finally, turning 50 years old today, and probably go ahead and say she's my good for how much of my youth she affected. One Angelina Jolie.
So, what's your first thought of when you hear about Angela Jolie? When you see her name or hear her name, what do you think of?
There's always the Tomb Raider movies. There's the Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
But I think her role in Wanted, because Wanted is one of my favorite movies. Of like, if I made a list of just movies that I loved, it's making the top 15 of my entire life.
Okay.
That's pretty hefty praise.
I immediately go to Gone in 60 Seconds because I'm pretty sure that was the first time I ever saw her.
Well, you don't remember Sneakers?
I probably didn't see it. Or I didn't. If I did, I didn't know who she was at the time.
She was the girl hacker with all the rest of the hackers.
Yeah, I don't know that I saw that movie.
Yeah,
that's an old movie, right?
That is an old movie.
80s?
Yes.
Late 80s?
Yes. She is.
Was Robert Redford in that?
She is a youngin' in there. Yes, I believe Robert Redford was in there.
Yeah. Okay. No, I know the movie. I don't know that I saw it, or I don't remember seeing it.
She had, I believe it was the short hair version of Angelina Jolie that we like hardly ever see.
Okay.
Ever in the world and land.
And I think I saw. And
they were not promoting her Hooters.
No,
at all.
They weren't. Just her dreads.
Oh, no. In Sneakers.
Oh, in Sneakers? Well, she's probably too young.
Probably.
Like, I know she was in stuff as a youngin'.
Right.
With who her dad is, but I didn't know anything about her until, I went to see Gone in 60 Seconds because of her. When I saw the previews, I'm like, a white chick with dirty dreads?
Oh, well, she wore them well.
Kind of hot. Yeah. I'm like, I have to go. And the dude, I wanted dirty dreads all over me.
Now, of course, her being Laura Croft was amazing because that was right up my alley, as Tomb Raider was one of the first games where you got to control, and the chick was, besides Samus, but we didn't know until the end that Samus was a girl, right? With Metroid. We had no clue until the very end. And then the whole thing, we needed to beat the game really good so all her armor would come off.
Was she also in the game? Was she the model for the game?
So the character model was just the armor running around, right?
All right.
They did never concentrate who was inside.
Right.
But I think it was the Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, not the first Metroid, but on the Super Nintendo. Once you beat the game, if you beat it with a certain score and did a certain amount of things, like Samus would take off her helmet. Yeah. And you didn't know at the time it was her helmet.
Right.
It was just a helmet. And then you're like, that looks like a 16-bit chick, right? And you found out later, whether either through Nintendo Power, the magazine, or one of your buddies doing it, or if you were my buddy, me doing it, to where I beat the game, and I beat it and did all the things, the extra quests and stuff you had to do and find the extra stuff. And instead of just taking off the helmet, she took off the whole thing, and she was in a bikini. Now, this was a 16-bit bikini, but...
It's bikini nonetheless.
You're like, wow! That was worth the 30 extra hours I put into this gameplay. It was not.
For a 16-bit bikini.
Right. But at the time, it totally was.
Wow.
So, there you go.
All right. Good enough. All right, Colby. Well, my good is clearly Angelina Jolie.
Wow.
There's not even...
Keith David.
No, but chick wins every time.
Right.
I would have gone probably Bruce Dern before I'd have gone Keith David, just me.
Okay.
My bad. I'm going to go Albie Sure.
It was a toss-up, but you were going to go him or Russell Brand.
Yeah, I could have gone Russell, but no, it was Albie Sure, just because, come on. And my ugly, I got a couple of thoughts here, and they're both kind of the same. I'm going to go Russell Brand as my ugly.
Okay.
And it was between him and TJ Miller.
Oh, wow.
Because they both have the biggest front teeth I've ever seen in my life since John Elway. And he just has big teeth.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think also because the rest of his facial features are small with Russell Brand.
Maybe
it
so,
makes his teeth look big. I think his teeth are probably normal.
It's unfortunate sizing for him.
Right. So my good is I got to go Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
Just because of that one scene in Wanted where she's getting out of the supposed milk bath and taking the long walk with all the tattoos and stuff. And she looks behind her. Yeah, no.
Dude, that's an underrated movie, too.
Man, they were curving bullets.
Yeah.
I know the CGI probably doesn't stand up now, but
it might.
It might. It was so cool. So, and the comic books.
Rewatch that.
The comic books were good too, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was comic books until later.
My bad is again, it's TJ Miller.
Okay.
You
because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
My buddy's an idiot.
Because you screwed up being one of the most successful franchises and you screwed it up.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So, and my ugly is Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, especially now.
Even then.
She hadn't got better looking.
Even then, she was not famous for her face. Even though her face was synonymous with famous.
She wasn't.
So.
She wasn't famous for any of that. She was famous for saying cock ring.
Yes.
Like that. I don't know. She just say some really dirty words that we were never allowed to hear anywhere else except for her.
It's good times.
And I remember, like I said, just my butt would pucker sometimes. I'm like, can she say that out loud?
She
are we allowed to say that?
She could say anything because, she was the doctor of sex.
Oh, my
That's a moniker that everybody should want to have in their life, is to be the
guess.
doctor of sex. Because you can get away with a lot.
Can.
You were just doing research.
Doctors of sex. I should be a doctor of sex, Colby.
There should be a study done on why you actually still get sex. That's what should happen.
No, because I don't want to know.
Somebody should find it out.
I don't want to know the reason.
They should do that, and they should also. There's two things that should happen to better the earth. One is that. The other is somebody come up with the circle drinks that's got the top on it that makes your water taste like whatever. They need to come up with one of those for coffee. That makes it taste.
Make it hot.
No. The coffee's hot while it's in it. The top of it's what adds the sweetness and maybe the cream or the Irish cream or whatever flavor you wanted that coffee to be at the time. That they need to make that. That needs to happen.
But why don't you just mix it?
Well, because then you wouldn't have anything extra in your coffee, but you'd still get the taste of it. So literally no calories, nothing whatsoever added to your coffee, no extra stuff. But you still get your coffee and your flavor.
Is that the point of the circle stuff?
Yes.
I never really understood what it was for.
Point of the circle stuff is that it's to taste good. Your water tastes better, right? Or it tastes like the flavor you want it to taste like. But there's actually nothing extra in your water.
Then how does it flavor it?
Because of the nozzle thing that
it's inside the nozzle, not inside your water?
Correct.
Oh, man, I see that stuff advertised all the time.
So, and for the coffee version, they need to name the cups that do that. The ways.
We already have that.
No, because then they can be the wake ups.
Or have you not patented this yet?
Isn't that an amazing name for a coffee cup?
Have you presented this business idea? I feel like we should be talking about it on the air. Have you presented this to Johnny yet?
I have not.
Well, there you go. You know what he does for a living, right?
The wake ups. That would be amazing.
How would you spell that?
It doesn't matter as long as it sounds like that, right? Whatever artsy-fartsy way you want to spell it or whatever's the most catchy, but going to go grab your wake up? Because what does it do? It wakes you up? Come on!
I don't know about you sometimes, Colby.
Internet.
Things that I think about while I'm inside a work van.
Yeah.
That's
I always think of porn.
Yes.
And you're making money.
Well, not yet.
I still like mine better.
We need to call Johnny.
And Colby now, we transitioned from Colby to Colby Sapp.
Right. More me.
More you. It's time for this.
Oh, yeah. Welcome into Colby Sapp's Mystery Shotgun. I am your host, Colby Sapp, along with Pod Racer Tim. We've got a lot of things going on in the world of comic books. Let's get some DC news out of the way before I get to the big Marvel news, as we are getting confirmation on the Woman of Tomorrow as Supergirl, the movie. Mm-hmm. So we're already seeing what's happening with Superman. By the way, I love everything that's going on with it. We will get a flashback kind of cameo of Superman in Supergirl.
Oh.
It will be a younger version to a kid version of Clark Kent, because they are using the timeline that Supergirl is older than Superman, but time got screwed up, and it's the reason why Supergirl appears younger than Superman. So Krypton explodes, right?
Okay.
Two ships are sent out. One's got Kal-El, one's got Kara in it. They are going to Earth, right? And so what happens is Kara, or Supergirl's ship, gets sent off course and doesn't arrive on Earth till later.
Okay.
So because of the time delay that everything happens, Superman lands on Earth first. That's what causes him to age at the rate that he does.
Right.
Supergirl isn't on Earth, so she doesn't age the same rate.
Right.
Right? And so she ends up, even though she used to take care of Kal-El as he was a baby and babysit him, she's now on Earth younger than he is because he grew up.
Okay.
And she hadn't had a chance to. So that's the storyline.
Okay.
So we will get to see that in the Woman of Tomorrow. We also get...
That's kind of cool.
So we get to see also Crypto as a puppy in part of the movie. And then we get to see a bigger version of Crypto than it was in the Superman movie. That is also confirmed. So the Woman of Tomorrow is going to stretch across a pretty good bit of time, right?
And they can do that.
They can do that. So that's your little tidbit on what's going on.
Okay. She hot?
Yes. Sweet. I mean, no, they got an UGG to play Supergirl.
Dr. Ruth Westheimer to play?
They got an UGG to play Supergirl. Never happened. Never happened. In fact, if you're a slightly an UGG and you put on the Supergirl costume, you just moved up in the world.
Yeah, you're kind of hot now.
Right. So, ladies, if you have questions about yourself and you want to look better going out, just grab a Supergirl costume.
I condone that.
That's just immediate. In Marvel news, we have heard a story about Professor X as one person that's being considered for Professor X is one Bryan Cranston.
I did see this. I didn't know how serious it was, though.
So now the leaks that are coming about is that they are in talks. Now, this in talks, let me explain that to you real quick. In talks could be his people and the people at Disney are drawing out a contract in talks. This could be Kevin Feige mentioned to a secretary that it would be great for Bryan Cranston to be Professor X, and the secretary somehow knew how to get a hold of Bryan Cranston, and Bryan goes, "That'd be kind of cool," and that's all that's happened.
Yeah.
In talks could mean anything. Doesn't mean that he is going to be Professor X, but that is the direction that we know of is that they're going, which we kind of knew this anyway. They're going for Professor X. Of course, the guy that you're replacing is a really good Professor X. When you're going after Picard as your Professor X, Jean-Luc Picard, number one, take a number two. When you're going after Patrick Stewart and replacing him, you're going to need somebody that can hold weight. Bryan Cranston might be that.
Could be.
That name.
It's a big name, man.
There's been other names that could have been that I think still can have a chance, but I like this idea. So Bryan Cranston is the guy that, again, is in talks with Marvel. We don't know anything else. Okay? So, but I thought that was a kind of cool story to have. Grand Theft Auto news, as there's been some guys that have done some research, as Grand Theft Auto has probably been, Grand Theft Auto 6 has been in full-scale production since, I would guess, 2017. Because they made GTA 5, then they went for, you had Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Online, all of that had to be happening while they were still doing updates on GTA 5. So probably 2017 is when their schedule cleared to where they can actually really start on GTA 6. And some people have dug up that since that time, there have been about 12 to 13 different patents that have been made by Rockstar under the Take-Two moniker.
Oh, wow.
And looks like it's specifically for stuff going into the Grand Theft Auto 6 game. One of them being, now you have to remember, as much as we love our PlayStation 5s, or if you are the owner of a PlayStation 5 Pro, then congratulations, because probably GTA 6 is going to be the game that pushes the Pro to its limits, which hasn't been done by any other game released by PlayStation yet. This game's going to push everything to its graphical limits because they have asked for one of the patents that I thought was very unique, and I noticed this in the trailer, was the independent action of everything that is on the screen. They have a patent that puts it to where everything has its own processes that it goes through. Instead of, like, say, we'll just use the beer, for instance. Mm-hmm. And when every beer looks the same. You grab, in GTA 5, if you grab a Pisswasser, it looks like every other beer. Nothing special.
Right.
This particular patent involves the fact that it can be cold, it can be warm, it can be half drank, it can be full.
That's crazy.
All of the things that go along with that, it can happen. It's not just beers. That's just what I set aside. But everything can be a little different. Like, you can use the same, for lack of a better term, the same sprite for a TV, the same model for a TV.
Right.
But maybe this TV has a couple more scratches on it. Maybe this TV, is missing a knob. Stuff like that can happen when they post and recreate, depending on the ambience of what that thing is set into. And it's ran by the actual program. How the things look is actually ran by this separate program that they have for the patents, which I thought was really cool. I thought was super cool, and I can't wait to see it happen. The other thing is how they're going to boost the NPC's abilities. So instead of just having set patterns like in GTA or GTA 5 or GTA Online, where you see an NPC walking, they'll go walk this way, and then they'll turn around and they'll go walk back the other way, and they have nowhere that they're going. Each one of the NPCs, according to, they put a patent on this, will have something that they're doing. They're going to the store, and then they're going to go back home.
That's crazy.
They're going to go get a haircut. They need to go run this errand, run that errand, or they're homeless. And now every one of them has something that they are doing, and you could follow them to its fruition until they make it back to their house later that day. Every one of them. Insane.
Golly.
The other insanity is that they will learn, like if this particular NPC, and you run by it a bunch, and say you hit it with your car on accident, and the next day you hit it with this, it'll start learning to get the F out of the way every time it sees your car.
Right.
The NPCs learn. That's
insane.
Sink in. The NPCs learn.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it because the cops are going to remember my last hidey hole. Like if I get away from them and somebody finally sees that that's where I went to get away, are they going to learn that that's where I'm going? So the NPCs are going to learn at some point. If they keep learning, the cops, that is, then no one's ever going to be able to get away from cops.
Yeah.
They've just learned everything.
They know where you go.
So that is nuts.
Because everybody has their go-to when you're trying to get away from the cops.
Right. Which is you either go really high in the air or you find some train tracks.
Yeah.
You go under or you go above.
Yep.
But, yeah, so it's kind of weird, man. And that's just a few of the patents that they have for Grand Theft Auto that I thought were very interesting. There were some others that, quite frankly, it got into words to where even my brain was like, I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea. And if I can't break it down Barney style for myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to tell you guys what it is. And especially trying to explain that to Tim. I'm afraid that what I just got through explaining to Tim, he still doesn't get, like, fully. So
I mean, maybe not fully, but I understand what you're talking about. I don't like it either. We don't need that.
We do, Tim. We need upgrades.
We don't.
This is
nothing wrong with GTA 5. That could be the last thing they ever did, and we'd be fine.
Yes, but we're getting better.
But we're getting smarter. We don't need smarter.
Yes.
Like, upgrade the graphics. We don't need all the beer to be different.
Yes, we do. That's so cool. So. See, that's the attention to detail that what's won Rockstar. All the people that love Rockstar games. The move up and the step up and the attention to detail. And it's just gotten greater. So Speaking of one of the guys that used to be with Rockstar, what the hell's going on with Build a Rocket Boy?
I'm waiting for you to tell me that.
Okay, so slight background, and this is mainly for Tim, because most of the people that I say Build a Rocket Boy, and you're interested in what I'm about to say, you kind of already know a little bit of the background. But so Leslie Benzies is one of your main writers behind Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption, Bully, all these games. He's one of your rock stars at Rockstar about these games. Well, in 2016, Leslie Benzies left Rockstar to go do his own thing. On his way out, one of the Take-Two or Rockstar executives said, "Sure, Leslie, go on. We'll see you later. Go build a Rocket Boy." So Leslie went and made his own company and named it Build a Rocket Boy, which is kind of petty.
Yeah.
It's kind of petty.
A little bit.
And his game that he's been creating has gone through some maturation process, because the game that he was trying to create was this game called Everywhere. Everywhere is basically, have you ever seen Ready Player One?
Mm-hmm.
It's that. It's the Oasis. Everywhere is the Oasis. In other words, it's everything. You go in, you have one character, and this one character that's your avatar, right, of you, can now go and be a part of all the other games that are connected and keep a long score, and then you build your own place to be with trinkets from all the games that you've beaten and all this. It's really wanting to do that. And also you can build your own games using Everywhere's tools to share with other people. So you can be a game creator and use the tools that your AA and AAA guys have in order to make these games. So it's going to be a community-driven video game experience, which sounds as ambitious as fuck.
Yeah.
And probably too far, because you're counting on a mass grouping of gaming humanity to just jump on board and not bitch about it.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure how that happens. So Build a Rocket Boys had some troubles. They've had some things go on. It was a startup company. I think it was based in Ireland, and they're now about to release their first game, and it is not Everywhere. It is a game called Mind's Eye that was built using the Everywhere engine. So they took their tools that they want to give to everybody else in the Everywhere engine, and they built a game. And they are now offering it as it will be connected to the Everywhere universe. Or now it's called the Mind's Eye universe, because the Everywhere idea is going to have a shallow startup with this game. The thing has happened is that they sent out not a demo, but a video to a lot of the video game media and said, here's what we've got coming up. And immediately a lot of the people that saw this media presentation said, there's a lot of bugs in this, buddy. There's a lot of things that I think you need to... a lot of people have said that you need to delay this launch of this game. It's not ready yet. And Leslie Benzies and his crew are like, no, we got this handled. It'll be all right. We promise these things will be fixed. So the game itself is coming out, what's today? In 6 days, the game is coming out. And we have seen 2 trailers and a really unedited gameplay teaser.
Oh, boy.
That looks great. Looks amazing. But it's also a snippet that they wanted us to see, so you have kind of question marks about it.
Sure.
The other side of it is you're now starting to hear, like, the promotion department for this should be fired, because Hardly anybody knows about it.
I've never heard of it.
And this game is going to be their initial splash into gamedom, right? So come to find out, they fired their promotions department upon the launch of this game, which is happening again in 6 days.
Yikes.
The other thing we found out about was that there has been a lot of bad media about this game that's happened. To one of Benzie's executive officers is actually saying that no, Rockstar has paid off these people, and that's the reason why they're saying such bad things. So there's mud being thrown at this base of this game. And I'm here to tell you, all I'm hoping is that it's a good game, because I am one of the idiots that's already done the whole pre-order thing and everything.
Yikes.
And I want this to be a good game. I want to be entertained.
You have time to play that game?
I mean, I have a portable PlayStation that goes with me wherever I go, Tim.
All right. Sounds like a lot.
So you do realize I cut out like a lot of TV time just to, well, actually I watch TV while I'm playing video games.
You do both.
So that's just how the
how you
setup
do that
rocks.
either.
That's just how the setup rocks. So Mind's Eye, again, coming out in 6. I will have an actual review of the game, because as soon as it's here, I'm contemplating taking a day off from work and just being like, yep, we're just going to play this today. That's just going to be what we do. So either that day I'm going to be kindly excited, very excited, or perturbed as all hell and wanting a refund.
Oh, boy.
We'll have to find out. So, but there you go. There is your Colby Saps mystery shotgun.
Huh. It's a big one. All right, Colby. That's a lot of talk right there.
It is. Is it now coming up next? We're just going to have Norm?
We've missed some time. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. So we got Norm, and who's Norm got on? You got to throw this.
Well, just send us to break, and I'll intro that when we come back.
All right. So coming up next, it's Norm right here on the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim Show.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. What is turf life? It's pretty much, if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the Colby Sabanini Car Tim Show right here on FanStream Sports. Appreciate everybody tuning in on this Wednesday. Coming at you from the FanStream Sports Studios in North Dallas. Don't forget, you can always use that FanStream Sports Studio text line 24/7, 214-937-0569. Make sure you put that in your phone. Whether we are on the air or not, you could be listening to one of the great recorded podcasts here on the network and decide you want to chime in with something. Just text that number. Tell us who you are, where you're texting from. Be part of the next show. We'd appreciate that very, very much. All of the interaction from you guys. We do have a very special segment coming up to end the show tonight as the great Josh Bogorad of the Dallas Stars, the play-by-play guy, gosh, I guess he's in his 7th season now, sat down with our own Norm Hitzkes to talk a little Stars season and some Josh and what can we look forward to in the future with Pete DeBoer and the boys. And it was something like this.
Just finished his 7th season as the voice of the Dallas Stars. He's LA born and University of Arizona educated. He began his career covering the LA Kings and then doing hockey play-by-play in hockey out-of-the-way places like Corpus Christi, Texas, and Anchorage, Alaska, calling the Alaska Aces games before joining the Stars in their broadcast and telecast in 2013 and ascending to the voice of the Stars in 2018. Joshua, thank you very much for your time today.
Norm, it's always a pleasure. I was trying in my lead up to Dallas to just find the southern and northernmost possible places that I could be before landing here. So I feel like I got pretty close if I didn't nail it.
Josh, before we get to the Stars, hockey's a winter sport. And would you tell us what broadcasting the Alaska Anchorage Aces was like in winter?
Yeah, I mean, it was winter. I know in Dallas, we joke that we don't really get all 4 seasons. Maybe we get like 3 weeks of spring and 3 weeks of fall. In Alaska, you definitely get your share of winter. It was such a great time. I went up there not knowing what to expect. I went up there because the job opportunity that I had was a fantastic job. And when you're in my line of work, which is broadcasting at lower levels, and just you go where the best opportunity is. I think so many people in this industry are familiar with that. So Anchorage and the Aces, that was what that afforded me. And I didn't know what life was going to be like outside of that. I just went exclusively for the job. And what I found was it was such an amazing out of work experience too. The city I loved. I made some friends that I'll have for life. I got to see and do some of the most unique things you could ever imagine. I was there for 3 years, and I feel like in those 3 years, the one-of-a-kind experiences I got will rival the rest of my life put together. It was just a fantastic place, a great organization. The job was everything I wanted it to be. But, I mean, you get acclimated and you get used to it. But, yeah, I mean, you're dealing with negative temperatures all the time and the sun going down at 3:30 in December and not coming up till 10:30 a.m. the next day. And It's different. And then the summers are amazing because it's the inverse of that, and you can go golfing and have a 10:30 p.m. tee time and get all 18 in. So it's a pretty great spot. I loved it. I will always love it. My oldest son was born there. It'll always feel a little bit like home. And I can't say enough good things about it.
You grew up in L.A., where there are the Dodgers, the Angels, the Lakers, the Rams, the Chargers. How does young Josh grow up a hockey nut?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it was kind of happenstance. I grew up a fan of all sports, and that's first. Like I'm a sports fan across the board. So even to this day, it's not just exclusively hockey. There is so much wonderful entertainment out there across the board if you're a sports fan. But I was a kid. I was in elementary school, and I got invited to an old LA Kings game and went and didn't know anything about the sport. And a buddy of mine, his uncle had season tickets. The barn was probably 3/4 full, if that. But I just remember watching it and being a sports fan, but never having been introduced to hockey at that point. The speed and the power and the sheer entertainment value from a spectator standpoint. I just remember watching that game and looking at the ice and thinking, I want more of that. I want to know what's going on here, and I want to come back and see this. And I think it's one of the coolest things, Norm, the fact that my career, I had no idea where it was going to take me. I decided I wanted to be a hockey play-by-play broadcaster a long time ago after I fell in love with the sport. But it'll always be traced back to that experience and that feeling. And so the fact that my career had me land in Dallas, which is a, quote, non-traditional hockey market, and it's such a good market, but not traditional, that to this day, every year, multiple people will come up to me and say, hey, I went to my first game this year, and man, I can't believe this was here the whole time and I didn't know about it. And I never get tired of hearing that comment. It's probably my favorite thing that I hear because it resonates with me. I remember that feeling. And I love when a hockey community grows and more people get introduced to it the same way I did. Because I urge people, if you're watching this and you're a sports fan, and obviously you've heard of the Stars, and like you maybe watch it come playoff time, and when it's on, you'll flip it on. There's just such an amazing feeling when it hooks you. If you watch more of it, if you come to a game, if you tune in regularly on Victory Plus, it's such a fantastic sport. And I say this again as a fan of all sports. It's not to diminish any other one, but there's something about hockey, the way it can grab you and the energy in that building and the power and the grace and the pace of everything. I love hearing that from people, and I love the fact that it happens all the time in a place like Dallas.
Now, on to the Stars. Were you as stunned by the collapse of the Stars in the last 4 games of the Edmonton series, where they were outscored 19-6?
Yeah, I mean, in a word, yes. Yes, I really was, Norm. I think that everybody close to it that followed this team all year long, that's followed them for this 3-year run of back-to-back-to-back trips to the Final Four in the Western Conference Final. Yeah, I was completely stunned. And I think that most people probably are feeling the same way that I was, which is you want a do-over. And unfortunately, you don't get one, because I do still believe that they had the pieces, that the team in its construction was good enough to get through a true Stanley Cup contender in Colorado and the best team in the regular season from start to finish in the Winnipeg Jets. They didn't just luck their way through that. Tip your cap to Edmonton. They're a deserved Stanley Cup finalist. We'll see how the final plays out in the rematch. They were outstanding. They were more than Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but those two guys definitely left their fingerprints all over it. So it's not to take anything away from Edmonton. But yeah, I was completely stunned because it was a team that they overcame every obstacle, and there were a number of them that came their way this year. And it was a team that was so strong from the net out, and they were so deep up front And I just couldn't envision a scenario where those 4 games were going to play out in the fashion that they did. I think even I thought the Stars were going to win the series. I truly did. But even if you were going to concoct a scenario that they didn't, I don't think anybody, including people on the Edmonton side or people that would have predicted them, saw it playing out in that fashion. And I think that that's what it came as such a shock, is that nobody could have foreseen it playing out the way it actually did play out.
Josh, this Stars team has incredible offensive players. Rantanen, Duchesne, Johnston, Marchment. Now, Robertson had a nice series, but you keep going up. Ben Dadenoff. What happened to the offense on this team?
It's a great question, and Norm, I think it's one that they'll be asking themselves all summer long until they get a chance to run it back next year. Because I think that's, if you had to dial it down to a few of the shocking things, and there were a lot. I mean, it wasn't just that, but I think that's the biggest storyline, is what you mentioned. The penalty kill struggled against what has been a historically good power play. And, they were a historically good penalty killing unit, and then kind of just bent and broke. They ran into the greatest week and a half of Stuart Skinner's life in the Edmonton net. And all of these things in a short sample size, that's a playoff series, to put it into baseball terms, right? If you're an MVP candidate, but you go 1 for 20 in a series, like, all of a sudden that's all it takes. If you do that over a 4-5 game stretch in a 162 game season, it's a blip on the radar. But for all of those players to kind of all be silenced at the exact same time was just a storyline that was hard to fathom happening. And then we all watched it play out. And I think, again, that's kind of, you laid it out, the shock. I don't know what happened. Part of this is, the Edmonton Oilers deserve a lot of credit, because in the third period, when they had a lead, they gave Dallas nothing. And it's a team that will always be headlined by McDavid and Draisaitl and their offense, but they were outstanding as a lockdown team defensively, protecting leads in the third period. They truly did it as well as anybody in the league could have done. And I don't think that too many people would hold Edmonton in that regard if you were going to rank everyone in that category. And they were, and they deserved it. So a ton of credit should go to them. But I think that the Stars, with their depth scoring, their spread out scoring, their high end ability, all of the guys, they were a roster that was constructed where you would say, all right, if 6 guys go quiet, then you still have 4 that can win a series on their own. And it just didn't manifest that way.
Josh, were you surprised that the coach Pete DeBoer pulled Jake Ottinger 7 minutes into Game 5 after he had allowed 2 goals on the only 2 shots Edmonton took?
I didn't see that storyline coming, just because of what Jake had been all playoffs long, and what he's meant to this team all season. But I also was surprised at so much of that. I was surprised, backpedal it, that the Stars were down 2-0. That 7 minutes in a must-win game on home ice, that they were even in that spot where that decision had to get made. But sure, I was surprised. I think everybody in that building was surprised, because I don't think, when we were getting ready for that game and an opportunity to keep their season alive, I don't think anyone had on their bingo card that they'd be in that size of a hole that quickly. And a guy like Jake Ottinger would wind up on the bench. To the Stars' credit, they still made it a game after that. But that was kind of part of the story of the season. It's a tough way to live. It's a tough way to live when you're constantly chasing. And Dallas was constantly chasing. They never once had the lead in any of those 4 games that they lost in a row.
Jim Nill, the general manager, gave up a ton of assets to acquire Mikko Rantanen and Michael Granlund and Cody Ceci to support this club as it headed for the playoffs. But the flip side of that now is that the Stars have, I think you can say, pretty significant salary cap problems going forward. Are there some veterans who played their last game in this Edmonton series?
It's always a possibility. I mean, there's always going to be change, and we live in a cap world in the sport of hockey where sometimes those decisions are business decisions driven by dollars rather than by ability and who you would want back. So that's a fair question that they've got to figure out. I mean, they had a number of veterans who some were acquired via trade, like you mentioned. I think they would love to keep some of them around, and then there's others that probably will be casualties of that. Look, the reality, Norm, you and I know this. We've been around sports long enough. No team comes back exactly the same.